Dr. O'Neill, I love your background.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm
I have a call.
I'm
Okay.
representing Mount Sinai West.
That's great. That is beautiful background. Okay, good. I was just introducing you and just telling everybody about what our programs that we're doing. We're recommending people to come to our exercise program, and
Mhm.
we're telling our doctors about our program, which you will be getting this in the mail to refer people to our program, which will be a donation only. So the workout
Wonderful.
program won't have a big cost for people. It'll be pay as you can.
Hmm.
So today I want to let's hop in right into our show, and we will be talking about meaningful activity,
Hmm.
living with Parkinson's, and how to bring purpose into your life through your activities, even with all of the challenges that you are living with. So I'd
Hmm.
like to start with you, Dr. O'Neill, and just open up
Yeah,
and give us a little overview, and then we'll get into some questions.
wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you for having me back. So, across these segments, I have introduced quite the concept of our thoughts and our emotions and behaviors all being interconnected and influencing each other to either help or hinder us. And today, what I'd like to do is integrate the final puzzle piece, which is our behavior. And of course, when diagnosed with any chronic condition, an initial halt in meaningful activity can be extremely natural. That's often the case when trying to adjust to the diagnosis itself. Yet, this acute modification can start to turn into more of this chronic, prolonged behavior, which can be more unhelpful patterns of coping. So, this could be avoidance, isolation, withdrawal, excessive sleep for escape. And all of a sudden, quality of life at the behavioral level begins to shrink, which of course impacts emotions and beliefs further. So, the good news is, and a crucial takeaway from today, is that changing behavior tends to be the quickest and most effective way to change thoughts and feelings if we start at that variable.
You know, it's funny. It's like you want to feel good, so you go to work out,
Mhm.
but you don't feel good before you work out. You feel
Absolutely.
better after you work out, right?
Absolutely. Wonderful example of that, of letting your actions lead and hopefully feelings can follow. So, a good mantra to remind yourself is we have to give more to ourselves in order to get more from ourselves. And that starts with action.
Right. Give more to yourself. That's great. So
Hmm.
then if you focus on your goals,
Hmm.
and you rather than the feelings, you'll have the feelings after you do your goal, right?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. You can all of a sudden feel inspired. You can have a change in your outlook. Emotions can start to be generated in a hopeful way, all because you took the first step with action 1st.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So interesting. All right. So let's dive into a couple of questions here.
Hmm.
Um, Life takes discipline. It's not, life is, we're not just here for a party, although we do want to party, right?
Yes.
But it takes work, it takes discipline, and then we
Hmm.
get the reward.
Hmm.
So our first question is, how can I maintain self-control and take responsibility for myself and my life when I'm so dependent on other people?
Hmm. Hmm. That's a wonderful question. I think, as said before, a significant feature of Parkinson's is the impact that it has on the quality of life. So we love to be in control and complete tasks independently, yet making sure that this individual writing this question really starts to watch out for this all or nothing approach. So, for example, if I can't do the entire task, then I'm not going to do any of it at all. And start by noticing what specific features of the activity you can contribute to specifically. So, if the task can be modified, what is one piece of that puzzle that you might be able to take on as your assigned role? And I say assigned role because I like to emphasize, rather than rather than having caregivers when someone is managing Parkinson's, I often encourage the terminology of care partners to remain collaborative, and that help is really, really important. Also, just to keep your quality of life expanded.
You know, that's so interesting because somebody just said to me, you know, I don't like to tell people that I have Parkinson's because when I do, they go, "Oh, be careful walking up the stairs,"
Mm-hmm.
or "Let me open the door for you," or "Be careful," you know. So she said, "I don't want that. That's why I don't
Yes.
tell people." So we shifted around a little bit and we thought, and so she said that her friends say to her, you know, "Thank you so much for, you know, letting me help you." And I said, you know, you're giving to them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part of you that's giving to them.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, you know, you might look at it as an unfortunately, but you have to see that you are a giver also,
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
know.
Join the
And the
meeting.
importance of recognizing if you need to express where your limitations are and where accommodation could be helpful, that's certainly an important conversation to have with a friend who might be maybe over accommodating you, and having that discussion early on
Yeah,
could be also
yeah,
helpful. Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Here's a good question. How do I prioritize when so much is going on in my life? My own needs are taking a back seat as I only have so much energy before I run out. I help navigate my mother-in-law. I
Mhm.
help with the children and the grandchildren. I work full time, and it all makes it difficult to concentrate on my needs. So how do I express this to my family as they don't accept the fact that I can't do as much as I
Mhm.
used to?
Mhm. First of all, this sounds like a very busy individual. And
Yes.
again, a wonderful example of keeping quality of life and diversifying life with all the different roles that are happening in that question. I would start by asking myself, asking yourself, what is most important in my life? If I have a limited tank, where do I want to put this energy? And establishing those boundaries of what you can and can't do is so essential in having these conversations. So, this question reminds me of what I'm sure we've all heard before, that oxygen mask metaphor from the flight attendant. When they instruct us to place our mask on before we help other people, there's a reason for it. It's not selfish to prioritize yourself. In fact, it's absolutely essential in order to assist others. So, when speaking to the family, it would be really helpful to outline what responsibilities you're willing to take on, and also highlight where you might no longer be able to accommodate those requests, encouraging more of a collaborative discussion and process for problem solving. The remaining bits of the tasks that could also be helpful.
Right, working
Mhm.
together and not feeling you're being needy, but
Yeah.
turn it to look like we're working together on this, you know.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. You're not
We
just
do have,
dumping the problem on the other individual and say, I can't do this and you problem solve it. Really working with them might also diffuse um, some of the distress associated with it, and more willingness to collaborate.
right, right. You
Hmm.
know, a lot of us like to be in control
Hmm.
and to take everything on ourselves. But we have
Hmm.
to realize, you know what, we're really not in control. So we
Yeah.
might as well work together with each other, you know?
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely.
So guess what? We have a caller on hold. Let's
Hmm.
see what their question is before we move on.
Yeah.
Hi there. Can you hear me? No, I don't hear anybody. Do you?
Mm-mm, I don't.
Okay. All right. So I guess that caller disappeared.
Okay.
Call back again.
Uh,
We'll answer you faster. Okay.
yes.
Okay. Um, I always plan to exercise, and then the day flies by, and I do
Hmm.
none of it. How do I plan and follow through so I actually do what I have intended to do?
Hmm. Wow, I strongly relate to this question, and I think it's so common for all of us. I would really start again by prioritizing yourself. You can hear a theme here of giving yourself some care is absolutely not selfish. So it would be helpful to leave no room for negotiation of if I get around to it. Really scheduling it into your calendar as though you're making a meeting with yourself. This isn't a meeting that you drag around and shuffle around to reschedule when other responsibilities come around. Have those responsibilities work around your meeting personally with yourself so you can be more consistent and maybe have like an anchoring point for exercise for your day. Although I also won't get into a big outline of like this specific strategy, I would encourage any listener, if they want to have like a very specific goal, to search on Google, search on their web platform, a SMART goal, because a SMART goal has a specific, it's an acronym that helps with it has very helpful tips to plan out an activity in order to follow through more effectively. So it stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. And that's the analogy for SMART. And so if you could answer those questions for yourself, it makes it more likely that you're able to follow through with the goal itself.
So what, you Google it on, or how do you,
Mm-hmm.
what are we looking for?
I could also send you, Susan, a
Yeah,
handout that outlines a SMART goal chart.
that'd be
And
good.
so, yeah, a SMART goal really outlines these specific
Mm-hmm.
questions of what is my specific goal? How would I measure it? How would I
Mm-hmm.
track my project, my
Mm-hmm.
progress? All of these
Mm-hmm.
things to answer so that it feels as though it's a well thought out idea rather than I'd like to exercise today. We don't know
Right,
when we're going to get around to it then.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So those are the little voices that are in your head that are constantly
Mm-hmm.
negative and stopping us from, I can't do that now because I have to wash the dishes. I can't do that because I have to drive my mother-in-law over here. I can't do that because, so all of those come into play, and those voices are nonstop, you know?
Yeah.
So, it, how do you stop those negative voices and
Mm-hmm.
switch them over?
Mm-hmm. Well, specifically within the SMART goal, they ask about the relevance of this. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this goal specifically? Why is exercise really important to me? We all know why it's important for Parkinson's. It's absolutely an essential behavioral medicine alongside any other medicine that's prescribed. So those thoughts might creep in and they might want to have you divert your path of like what your goal is and the direction forward. Maybe they can be there. However, you can also balance it out by reminding yourself, this is so important for me. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This might be chatty in my mind, and yet I'm still going to proceed and not
Right,
reschedule on myself.
right, right. You have to be strong. You have to have that
Mm-hmm.
strength inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one of the questions is, what if you don't have family support? What if you're like
Mm-hmm.
on your own and
Mm-hmm.
you have kids to take care of and you have your, you know, so how do you get that? How do you help yourself in a way, you know?
Mm-hmm. I would certainly try to be as organized as possible. If it feels like you are being pulled in so many directions, take inventory of what is absolutely essential day after day, and maybe what needs to dissipate or be placed to the side temporarily while I focus on the tasks that need to get done. There's of course so many resources of uh, are your friends willing to help? Is there a village in a less traditional way of maybe immediate family, but who else can be supportive around you, even if it's just emotional support? I would try to
Right.
take inventory of that in your life.
Well, Parkinson's Wellness Project is here, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
we have a lot of people in our group that are very friendly and warm, like
Mm-hmm.
very people who are very good at what they do. They might be retired and have
Mm-hmm.
time to help
Mm-hmm.
out. So, you know, reach out to us. That's
Yes.
a, you know, we're here.
Wonderful suggestion. Absolutely. What are the resources in your community that can help?
Yeah. All right. I'm going to act this out. My feet hurt me. I
Mm-hmm.
have so much pain. I just want to lay down and cry. I
Mm-hmm.
change my shoes. I try assorted things to help my pain go away. What is the best way for me to deal emotionally with my physical pain? Because it's here.
Mm-hmm.
not only the pain today, but the pain for the future.
Yes.
So those are two
Wonderful.
parts to that
Yes.
question.
Yes. This is a question I hear so much, and I actually work a lot with individuals who have chronic pain syndrome as well. So I have a lot of ideas here, and I want to try to keep it brief. Of course, we want to keep quality of life expanded. So I'm not necessarily, when I'm working with an individual with chronic pain syndrome, I'm not necessarily focusing specifically on reducing the intensity of their physical pain directly, but bi-directly, keeping the life expanded around the pain. If you're able to engage in those activities that are pleasurable, they're important to you, they give you meaning and purpose, that is so essential. So even if it tends to not necessarily modify the physical pain, it keeps the pain outside of, or it keeps your life expanded outside of that pain. A specific technique that I will suggest are grounding techniques in order to detach from specific emotional pain. So whether it be related to content in the past, truly problems in the present or the future, grounding can really help to distract by focusing on the external world. So rather than looking inward and being in that emotional pain, we're asking you to center yourself with this outward perspective, with healthy detachment. So everyone's probably wondering how the heck you do that. There are several techniques, and one specifically, especially for physical pain, could be physical grounding strategies, such as running cool or warm water over your hands or squeezing an ice cube. These sound a little bizarre. However, if there is a change in temperature and you are experiencing that in your hand, that is redirecting your mind and your attention away from maybe the source of the physical pain and placing it on a new sensation in front of you, feeling the present moment.
So it's taking your attention away from the actual pain and moving it to something else. That's the
Yes,
redirection.
absolutely. Redirecting it. It could be mental
That
grounding with categories. It could be
right.
a lot of
That's
different
all
things.
mind work. It's all in your
Mm-hmm.
mind.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot going on up here. This is the powerhouse. We have to
Yes.
realize that we think we're not in control, but we are in control of our thoughts. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to work on our thinking process.
Yeah, we have to override it sometimes with a lot of effort
Mm-hmm.
and behavior.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. That was
Yeah.
really interesting. Any questions from anybody out on our Zoom? Because I see some friendly faces out there. Um, we have some other questions. I want to tell everybody also that this is a monthly radio show. This will be, I hope Dr. O'Neill will come back with us again because you are
This has
so
been wonderful.
interesting. I love talking to you. I love
Yeah.
hearing all your strategies, and there's so much, and we could really use this help. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but this is the last of the third in our series. So who
Mm-hmm.
knows? Maybe in the fall, or you'll come back again, and we'll do
Yes,
another series.
I would love to.
Um, Another question. When anxiety and depression seem associated with PD,
Mm-hmm.
are they responsive to talk psychotherapy?
Mm-hmm.
And how do medications used to treat motor? Well, this is a different question. Let's talk about that. Let's do that one
Mm-hmm.
first.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. I would say short answer, yes. Anxiety and depression associated with Parkinson's can certainly be, I want to emphasize, managed with evidence-based psychotherapy services. So in fact, Parkinson's research really highlights the impact that cognitive behavioral therapy, which stands for CBT, and actually so much of the content that's been discussed across these radio segments, those specific techniques can assist with non-motor symptoms of depression, anxiety, possibly the irritability that comes with, or the panic that comes with the off times. So although emotional distress doesn't completely vanish, it can be better tolerated through these techniques and skills learned through cognitive behavioral therapy. And interestingly, I will add, that when you're targeting these non-motor symptoms, such as depression and anxiety, through behavioral interventions, cognitive or emotional interventions, it actually in a non-direct way, in a secondary way, it is helping to impact and reduce possibly the intensity of motor symptoms too.
Yeah, because the mind is over matter,
Mm-hmm.
now, this is something that we're thinking about. Parkinson's needs a whole team approach, and we're doing an event on May 16th around that topic. And we're going to have
Mm-hmm.
different speakers at the Boulder Stadium, which is now Clover Stadium. But when we spoke last time, you had mentioned it is very important for people to speak to somebody like you who can,
Mm-hmm.
we need that almost weekly.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
And you had mentioned that maybe you're going to be doing a series. So
Yes.
that could be a group that we join, and
Mm-hmm.
rather than having a one-on-one, maybe it's something that we really need to develop because people need you.
Yes, absolutely. And I think weekly, if it's problem solving, if it's accountability, showing up for someone and telling them that you followed through with your goal, or just any stress management strategies, all of those can be very helpful within the context of therapy. And I will encourage, I'm starting the Parkinson's Wellness Workshop again on April 26th, which is in a few Tuesdays from now, which
Right.
will be the next round of
Uh-huh.
the workshop with
So,
CBT techniques.
okay, so how do we get involved with that?
Mm-hmm.
How do we join the group?
Yeah, I mean, if they would like to email me,
Do we have to be a part of,
Shannon.O'Neill.
do we have to be a part of Mount Sinai?
Nope. Only the only requirements are being a New York or New Jersey resident, just
Okay.
because of licensure purposes.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, we've had people well outside of the Mount Sinai system, as well as outside of New York City,
And
too.
is this Zoom or in person? Is
Hmm.
this
It's
virtual
Zoom.
or? So
Yep.
it's virtual. So, all right.
Hmm.
So tell us your email
Yeah.
or how
It's
we reach.
Shannon.
Uh-huh.
Shannon.O'Neill
Yeah.
at mountsinai.org. And also my office line, if anyone just wants to give a
Yeah.
call, it's
Mm-hmm.
212
Mm-hmm.
523 6449.
I think that's terrific. I think that
Mm-hmm.
it would be, how many weeks is that?
4 weeks, an hour long from 3 to 4 p.m. What I have noticed, I think I've said on this segment before, the peer support that is offered and the strategies and collaboration amongst individuals who are participating is probably the biggest takeaway
Yeah.
from the workshop.
No, we find that in our workout program is that
Mm-hmm.
the people who are going to our classes are helping each other. It's,
Yes.
of course, it's the exercise, but it's also connecting with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to stay connected and socializing with each other because Parkinson's, you want to contract and get smaller and go in, in,
Mm-hmm.
in, in, in. We need to expand and connect, connect, connect. You know,
Absolutely.
um, because that's what we're here for. We're
Yes.
givers. And just
Mm-hmm.
because we might have this disease and it stops us in certain ways, we still have to be those giving people that
Mm-hmm.
we can be. Just
Mm-hmm.
find a way that fits your personality, you know?
Absolutely. Finding a way. That's well said.
Yeah. So, oh, Dr. O'Neill, I am sorry to see the end of the show. I
Yeah.
love talking to you. You're fantastic, and we're gonna come up. Hopefully, we'll get more people to your series, and we'll do more together.
Absolutely. It's been
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Thank you for having me, and thank you everyone for participating too.
Yeah. So I want to tell everybody out there on the radio and on Zoom that on May 16th, we are having an in-person event at Boulder Stadium. It's going to be different from what we did in October at the Tulip Fest. It's a 2-hour event. It's a wellness expo. We will have Jennifer Reed and her ebb and flow therapy program. So she's our
Mm.
physical therapist that we'll be working with. You probably know Jennifer, right?
I
She's
I'm not
from Columbia.
familiar.
Oh, okay. Well, she's in Rockland County now, and she's working with us, so we're very happy about that.
Another resource. Hmm.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And we will be having a panel discussion with Dr. Julie Shahed from Mount Sinai, Dr. Sarva from Cornell Weill, Dr. Roger Rossi from Hackensack, and a few other surprise guests. So please stay tuned for our May 16th event. We would love to see you all there. It's outdoors. It's going to be fun and beautiful. And any questions? Yeah, our tulips are growing in our path of hope. We're doing a buy a brick campaign. We need to keep Parkinson's Wellness Project alive and growing, and we need your help. We've never reached out for any donations before, but we are doing, we built a path of hope. It is a beautiful path, around 2,000 tulip bulbs that are about to bloom and burst in full color in about a week. So come to Boulder Stadium, Clover Stadium, and see them, and help us support our programs. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Nice seeing you.
Thank you.